People are quitting now. It's all good.
I hope we're recording.
Yep, we are. Good.
Is it that good? Let me taste.
It is. What all's in here?
Gin, triple sec, strawberry simple syrup.
Oh, that's nice. It's very nice.
That's it.
Mm-hmm. Delish.
Fucking hey, that is good.
We need a quart. We need a tip jar for the fucks. Ooh, that's 2 already.
For me? Oh,
Both
2.
of
One
us.
for you and one for me.
It's a verb. It's an adverb.
Well, let's toast. Here's to you and here's to me. And if we ever disagree, fuck you. Here's to me.
And fuck
So,
you too.
anyway. Have 2 fucks and a pull. Bring it on.
Read between the lines, Darren. Read between the lines.
Anyway, you don't have to censor yourself. And if you don't curse, don't think you need to. Let's put it that. How about that?
Yeah, don't feel bad.
Okay, I definitely do.
Okay.
Especially since being an acting coach, it does, yeah.
Yeah,
It's like-
it's all about the
It was so
emotion.
much fun.
It's all part of it. It's all part of it.
Oh, I can't wait.
And we have a guinea pig in the studio, so if you want, we could try out some techniques with Tommy. So it's like, all right, Tommy,
Okay.
we need you to do this, be this way. So, no.
I don't know about any of that.
Tommy,
He's
no.
like, no, please don't put me on the spot. I'm not
Right.
doing it.
Y'all ready?
I'm ready.
Raquel, are you ready?
Yes.
You sure?
You sure?
need any more
Yes.
text? You need any more text? I know Megan's texting you right now. Like,
Yes, she is.
I can tell the way you look down. It's like,
I want her headset. Darren.
oh, you want to go by
Darren.
Okay.
Your wireless headset. No, I'll have to find headset myself. Okay.
All right, so let's hit this little button,
Okay.
shall we?
Mhm.
3, 2, 1. Folks, welcome back to Toasting the Business. Lynn, got you in the studio again.
2 weeks in a row. 3 weeks in a row. 3
Yeah,
weeks in a row. 3. Yeah.
We got a peanut gallery here.
Mm-hmm.
This is pretty special.
I know.
And this is going to drop after Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
But we have a pretty darn good Valentine's Day cocktail, don't we?
Oh, it's beautiful. We've already destroyed the accent piece,
Mhm.
but the way Megan brought in the cocktail, the strawberry looked like a heart on the side. It was the touches.
Made my heart go a little pitter
I
patter.
know. Love to me.
And my palate do the same thing. Strawberry martini.
Yeah.
Damn good.
Yeah,
Damn good.
it is good.
That's a recipe. We got a post on there.
Oh, we need to start posting our recipes, Megan. I need copies of everything.
I'll sell them to you.
Or we
Okay.
can just create a whole new webpage, Megan's Cocktails.
Could you not
Put the-
create another tab on our webpage called
Oh.
Megan's Cocktails? Yeah, okay, okay, yeah. Duh. All right, never mind. We're talking about the same. We're
We
talking
are,
like
we are.
this, yeah.
Mhm. Well, flustered today, are we? Got the new ride,
I got the new ride.
digging it.
I love it. It's so great.
So if you're looking to buy a used,
If you're looking to buy a used 2012 Mini Cooper with 77,000 miles on it in great shape, garage kept,
Come on down to Launch and
Yes.
Go, where we'll make you the deal of the century.
6-speed turbo, people, you gotta know it has a millennial anti-theft device on it, which means it has a clutch and a gear shift.
and there's probably a pen in there, so if you write anything in cursive, they won't know what the hell
Exactly.
you're saying.
It is not for a certain group of people who don't know how to drive something with a clutch, basically.
Well, now that we've listened to Lynn's ad, if you're interested in a Mini Cooper, why don't we hear a word from our sponsors? And we're back now.
Yes,
We love our sponsors.
we do. We do.
We talked to people last week. We said, hey, if you want to be a sponsor of the podcast, you can reach out to us
Mhm.
at podcast@toastingthebusiness.com and we'll talk. Let's
Yeah.
have some talks. But that's not what we're here for.
No. Mm-mm.
What are we here for today? Who are we here for today?
We are here to talk about Racquel Germany.
Yes, we are.
Yes, and what she does. And I'm really excited.
Because we had somebody who was like bailing out, and then we had to switch this, and Megan had that, and Megan's like, have you ever had an actor on the podcast? And I'm like, not really. I mean, we do act at times.
We do.
act up.
Act up. I can handle acting up for about an hour and a half a day. And then
That's
after
it.
that, I'm exhausted.
Yeah, most people are when they hang out with me for a bit of time. And, but anyway, Racquel is here with us. Welcome. Welcome.
Hey, thank you.
And she is, well, you're an actor. Do you go, okay, I gotta know this because this is, yeah, you know what's coming, right? Actor or actress, which one do you actually prefer, or is it just no? Everybody in the business is just now actors.
Honestly, I just go by actor. Like, I'll say actress sometimes, maybe in my bio, but honestly, I feel like actor is like it gives that theater sound, that the foundation of where it started. So I like to say actor.
Can you say I'm a professional thespian then?
Yeah, yeah, that too.
That's
I
a,
say that too sometimes. Yeah,
That sounds very formal.
I
I'm
am.
a thespian.
yeah, yeah.
how much of that martini have you had?
I know. Only part.
Already. But anyway, I don't know. Where do we begin with this?
Well, I
one,
think she
Marty?
does something else in addition to acting.
I
You
do.
and what else do you do?
I also write, I paint, and I coach actors.
Ah,
So I do a little bit of everything. I'm just a creative person all the way around. Have been since high school.
okay.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right, let's back up the bus. Where did you attend a university or college after high school?
So I went to the Art Institute, not Art Institute. Goodness gracious, it's been so long. And then I had a baby, and my brain doesn't function the same way anymore after having a child.
Bio girl.
Um, I went to it was some art school in California, but I did it online so I could still pursue acting. But it
Yeah.
got to the point where I had to decide, do I want to continue university or do I want to pursue acting? So I stopped. So I never got a degree. I stopped that and went into acting full time and gave that all my time and focus and attention and built up my career from there.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. That's what, we have some listeners that are younger who are waffling on like, what do I want to do? Is this,
Hmm.
and it's always interesting to hear what they did after they got out of high school and the track that a lot of our guests.
Yeah. And I was pursuing art design, art direction. I wanted to go to Savannah College of Art and Design. Couldn't get in, broke my heart.
Stop.
Mhm.
I built up this portfolio. I was in AP art for 2 years. So I was like, I'm definitely getting in. 2 years of AP art, they gotta take me. I cannot get into that college. And so
Really?
yeah, so I switched but during that time acting kind of fell into my lap. And so I was like, oh, what is this acting thing? And then it kind of just took it a road on its own. And so I went from pursuing art and wanting to have a job in advertisement to being an actor.
Being an actor. Okay. So I'm gonna throw you a curveball.
Okay.
How can small business owners or people who are at work use acting in a sense to present ideas themselves, concepts? Do you coach people in that manner to help them?
Absolutely. One thing I will say with acting, it's all about freeing yourself up. So this literally, you could take acting class until it really will free you up to have any type of conversation in any industry. I literally can talk to a room full of people without fear. It's just the training really does get you there for that, but it also frees you up mentally. Like it opens up your ideas, it expands your understanding with human nature and communication. It just does so much. So you could definitely use that as a tool to like free yourself if you're a person who's nervous or shy. If you get into an acting class, all of that will go away.
Okay.
She teaches a special class on Saturdays called Fake It to Make It.
That's been my goal throughout my career.
You're around people in business world. Do you really have to tell them the truth? You just read the room and you just go with it. 'Cause
Basically,
that's
yeah.
what they want to know. Anyway, so what did you? That's a good thing. I'm sorry.
No,
That's a
it really-
good thing to
it
apply
is.
towards business because
Yeah.
especially as you just said, Raquel, overcoming fear. Talking to a room full of people. People clam up all the
Yeah.
time, and they kind of shoot themselves in the foot,
Mhm.
not just as a small business owner, but even in like a 9 to 5 job.
Yeah.
Like my best friend cannot stand to speak in public.
Oh, really?
Mm,
Now you've met him,
Mhm.
and he's very social and
Yeah.
great conversationalist, but when they used to have their like team meetings every couple of weeks at the office, and he had to talk because he was in charge of his department.
Oh, he didn't even,
he
really? He
would-
didn't even talk to his
it
department?
was almost like flop charts.
Wow.
Yeah,
Ooh.
it was like let me
Mm.
just that was it. So I get it.
mm-hmm. Yeah.
What do you do with folks to like get them through this, to overcome it? And I mean, especially now in school, kids have to take public speaking classes,
Yeah.
which is not fair to everybody.
No.
Because again, they're just you got to talk in front of folks. Right?
Yeah. I feel like you have to unlock a person's superpower. You have to tell them that there is power within them and that they have something unique to offer to the world and to what they believe in. And once you get people to connect with that superpower within them, then it allows them the freedom to move about a space. It allows them to execute on their ideas and to feel confident and to know that, hey, I'm offering something different. I'm offering a different perspective. It has value. It may not be for everybody, but it's something that I want to share with the world. It's really about understanding it from that perspective. That way you kind of eliminate rejection. We get that a lot in acting. I've heard a lot of no's. I've heard that I shouldn't do this, pursue this industry. I heard a lot of different things. So hearing the naysayers really does help you with just honing in on your superpower within and allowing yourself to pursue the artistry or anything you want in life freely
Mhm.
without the fear of comments.
Right. So it's really about becoming resilient in
Yeah.
your own personal space and what you
Yes.
have to say, how you present it, and then how you interact with people on the receiving side, especially if you're doing like an investor pitch.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's got to be
Yeah.
it's all get out.
So much fun.
Not so much. No. You know what got me over my fear of presentations? And you're gonna laugh,
What?
but teaching yoga for 10 years to complete strangers.
Mm.
Especially for folks that show up for that class sometimes, and you're like, oh, I've got to stare at you for the next
Yeah,
hour
well,
doing that in those poses.
It's usually dim, so I don't have to look.
So it's like, you know what? Today we're gonna do restorative.
Yeah, everybody lay on the
You're
ground.
gonna just lay there, and I'm gonna cover you, especially you, with a blanket because we don't want to see that.
Well, luckily it was Minnesota and it was cold, and so
people were bundled up.
yeah, people were pretty bundled.
People actually came in long johns to a yoga class then.
Not long johns, but everybody in Minnesota perfected the art of layering. So you'd start just peeling clothes off down to your leg. But no, it really did help me get over that fear of presenting because I didn't know who was coming in the room. I didn't know what kind of attitude they would have. And it was finally, I was like, I'll just do what I got to do.
That's almost
So-
like staring at people, imagining everybody in their underwear in the audience, which does not work. Okay. Have you ever used that technique? It doesn't.
Yeah,
work.
it doesn't work. It doesn't work. Like doing that it just doesn't work.
So what do you tell people to do? In a situation, they come to you raw and they want to act or they want to present. How do you help them get over that fear?
Honestly, I would say see it as a collaboration. See it as a collaboration that you're kind of gelling with the audience from an energy standpoint, but also that you have something, I don't know, when you really focus in and say like I want to show you what I can do. Like when you sit in that long enough, it builds the confidence to be able to just go out and say it and do what you need to do. That's kind of the headspace that I live in. I'm like, I want to show you this great thing that I've created or this great thing that I have, and just go for it.
Right.
But yeah, the whole thing of staring at the audience or imagining them naked does not work.
It doesn't. No, it doesn't. I had a situation in our sales meeting where there were two guys at the corner of the table and they were like the village idiots. It was like I was presenting in the Shakespeare theater during Shakespeare's time. And I didn't know what was going to hit me at any given moment. And luckily I had figured these two out. So I knew, what to do with them. But that's hard when you don't know your audience. You're like, oh,
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
You
So,
gotta take control.
and that's it, right? You got to take
Mhm.
control of the message.
You really do. You have to take control but have fun. Like you
Mhm.
gotta put your own unique. I think a lot of it too is that from society or social media or whatever's being pressed out there, the status quo, we tend to like look at that and like, oh, I have to achieve it from that perspective. But it's like, what if you are different? What if you are unique? What if you have something different to offer? Then you kind of like box yourself in. Now you're not comfortable in your skin. I really do think it's about being comfortable in your skin and then just going for it. Somebody's gonna like it.
Yeah. For
Yeah.
sure. For sure. I mean, I watched Shark Tank.
I love Shark Tank.
It scares the poo out of me watching those people, and you can
Really?
tell some of them are really nervous.
Yeah.
Their delivery is very rote. But do you sit and watch those shows and go, oh, they need a coach. They need something.
Sometimes, yeah, because I know it can feel intimidating. They're just looking, staring at you, waiting for you to say something, waiting for you to present. It's the same thing as going into a room with a casting director.
Yeah.
I had an audition for Sarah Finn. She's the head casting for Marvel. I auditioned for a Marvel project, and this is when we used to go back in person. She was very like plain face. Like she's no one to play with. You do not waste time. You come in there ready, professional, ready to go. Not only did I have like lines to memorize, come in professionally, I had to add an accent on top of what I was doing.
Joy.
So, right, I'm like, okay, let me just take a moment to breathe. I set myself up. But she came in, do you have any questions? I was like, no. And then she's like, okay, we'll see. And I was like, should I have a question? You start to think like,
Right.
should I have a question? Should I? And then I had to say, no, this character, you studied, you're prepared for this moment. And so then I just took a deep breath, let it all go. And then I went and performed. And she said, where are you from? That was like one of her assistant was going like, oh, she's great. Like, and she gave him a look like, be quiet almost. And so I was like, all right, cool. And then I told her where I was from and all that stuff. But the room can feel intimidating, but then you have to remind yourself that you've prepared for the moment. And to not psych yourself out. No, I did not. No, I didn't.
Which one was
But
it?
It was for Black Panther.
Really? You
Yeah,
screwed up Wakanda forever, didn't you? You were like, walkie walkie for oh shit. Let me do that.
How's that again? Honda.
I definitely did not fit the world for what they were looking for, which is okay. But she remembered me. My team reached out to her like for another project, and she's like, "Oh yeah, I remember her." And I was like, "That's all I needed. That's all I needed."
Good. I'm gonna put a pin in that. Your team. Who's your team? What's
My-
going on?
So with acting, you have a team. The actor is basically the CEO of their company, of their brand. But you add in an agent or a manager, attorney, you have like a publicist, you have all these different people an acting coach, they all become part of your team. So my agents reached out, and then your manager and all that stuff, those people are your voice, the connectors between you, the director, the producer, the casting. You don't have to communicate with them. So your agent and your manager does that for you, but also it kind of brings that barrier that if they have to be a little bit mean or aggressive or demand certain things, it's not on the actor. So you stay all, hi, how are you? So it's not placed upon you. If you get a little bit aggressive and demanding of what you want, they don't have to, you get to save your face.
Darren, I need one of those. I need a team. I do. I need a team. I've got some issues, man. Oh God. I need to win the lottery is what I need to do so I can hire a team. No, that's excellent though that you do have that. Now, how does this team fit into your coaching for actors? Does that equate into that at all?
Actually, no, that's something totally separate. But it can go hand in hand in the sense of like if my manager has other clients or if they bring on new talent that's fairly new to the industry, they're like, oh, one of our actors, she's an acting coach, she could help you, you know, blah blah blah. So it can work out from that standpoint, but they really don't have anything to do with the coaching side of things or what I do.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Great. Go. It's your turn.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I've been, yeah.
Maybe I'll tell you what, you show up every week for the rest of the year and we'll talk about a team for you.
Okay, that sounds good.
You can use my team.
Your team
Me, myself.
and I.
Right.
Okay, got it.
Love it. But if you, okay, I want to go back. So you got out of there. Your first big, I'll say, rejection was not getting into SCAD.
Yes.
And you start pursuing acting and
Mhm.
probably became a darn good waitress.
I wasn't.
See? Right. And then, but yeah, you said it kind of came to you, the acting part. Did somebody approach you and say, we've got this for you, we'd love you to audition, or we want to put you in this commercial or something? How did that work out for you?
It's a funny story. I love telling this story though, because it was very interesting. So my whole family's in the industry. My mom comes from the music industry. Then she worked in law for 27 years and she became our manager. My younger brother, I have two younger brothers. The middle brother, he was on the hit show Snowfall on FX as a series regular. And my baby brother is a stuntman in the industry. He's been on Black Lightning, Black Panther. He was just mayors of Kingstown. He's on all these different stuff. So we have a family full of entertainers and people in the industry. So it was my middle brother. He pursued acting before me. He went on an audition for a role. And at the time, he had really, really long hair. So people thought he was a girl. And I was just going along for the ride to support him on this audition. And so when he got there, they were like, oh, we thought from your headshot, we thought you were a girl. And my mom was like, no, but I do have a daughter. And I was like, what is she doing? I was like, I don't know. I'm like, she must have a daughter from somewhere else. I was like, I know she's talking about me. And so she's like, Racquel, just audition. Like, you never know. I was like, Ma, I'm going to be a famous painter. I don't know about this acting thing. I'm not going to do it. She's like, Racquel, you got to do it. She literally coached me through this role. I auditioned. I booked the lead role of this film. Yeah. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what this was. I literally booked the lead role of a project. And so I went through that whole process, which was terrible. I hated it because I didn't know what I was doing. I was it was very outer body. But after I went through that process, I said, this was very interesting. It sparked something within me and it got my attention. So I said, you know what? I'm going to decide to try it out, but I'm going to study. I never just went back into like, oh, let me go audition for more stuff. Like, no, let me understand what this is. So I took time to study, trained in LA, trained in New York, and then now here I am with with my resume.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Did mom also push you in the pool with no floaties on? I mean, I feel like it's kind of like,
No,
you know what I mean?
Time to swim.
Time to swim.
she actually did it after that experience. She was like, because she came from the music side, she knew like how tough the business was. And so she just said, do you want to try this? If you don't. If you do, do. And so I was like, I'll try it. And so then she just kind of supported us from that point on. But no, she pushes us in the perfect way of which we need to be pushed.
Yeah.
And it always works.
Yeah. She's your mom. That's why.
Yes.
She knows you better than you do.
She does.
It's a tough business. I mean, you hear stories like that. And when I worked for Columbia Pictures, that was one thing.
Mm-hmm.
One of the guys he worked in the mailroom, delivered the mail each day. And one day it's like, hey, did you hear what happened to so-and-so? It's like, what? No. He goes, one of the directors, famous directors,
Mm-hmm.
saw him, thought he fit the part. He did a screen test with him and boom, next thing you know,
Oh, wow.
It was that. And you watched like over time, watched his career to
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
go up and up, and then,
Mhm.
but it was like, that's just one of those fluke moments.
Sure.
Where you
Yeah. Yeah.
got the look for the part, either way you behave or act.
Yep.
And that was it. And that was probably you with that lead role. They're like, this is dynamite,
Mhm.
especially
Yeah.
with nothing, because now you're extremely coachable. Like,
Yeah.
my lines, and will tell you. But since then, did your mom? I mean, you probably knew it from the family. It's like you're going to hear no a lot.
Oh
Don't,
yeah.
especially when you came out of the gate with a lead role. I got a lead role in this.
Yeah.
Everything is going to be
Yeah.
the road
Cakewalks.
gold.
Yeah. Right.
And your mom
Yeah.
was like, hold on.
Mhm.
But did you? I mean, how did that work out for you? Where did the balance come in? What did you learn at acting school from the business side of things, as opposed to different, types of method acting and such? I want to
For
know,
sure.
what did they teach you, and why did you do New York and LA? Were you looking at like soaps and TV shows versus movies, because they kind of have their own area, geolocation?
Yeah.
So when my parents instilled in like me and my brothers from such a young age to be leaders, and that whatever we do, give it our all. So when we decide to do something, we go, I don't want to say we go to the extreme, but we become very disciplined in whatever that we pursue. So with acting, it was a thing of like I wanted to be well rounded within it. Um, it was a lot of trial and error because the industry can be kind of funny. It's very like feels like gatekeeping happens within the industry. So we did a lot of research during the time of which when we first started, there was a thing called pilot season.
Mhm.
So my mom graciously, we owe her everything, took me and my brothers to LA for 3 months, which was
What?
yes, very expensive.
Mhm.
um Took us to LA. She's like, okay, you got to get to LA so you can study more and meet people. So we did that. We went out there, did a lot of workshops, studied with a lot of different acting coaches, took some commercial training because commercials on its own is a big thing out there. And so she put us in a little bit of everything. I did a couple of workshops. That's how I got my agent out there for commercials. And then we kind of just like figured it out along the way. For me, I think the biggest thing, which I wish I had early on, which helps with rejection, is understanding the how this industry operates. That it's a marathon, it's not a sprint,
Mhm.
and that it's up and down. It's not like, oh, I book and then that means I'm gonna take off. No, 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 no. That means this literally every actor, even the A-listers, have their ups, their highs, and their lows. So that's something that I didn't understand at the beginning that I understand now. Also the control that you can have as an actor. You can literally craft your career. Yes, your agents and your manager may say, oh, we think you would be better for this role or whatever the case may be, but it's really up to the actor. Like, do I want to pursue this type of role, because they become part of you, and that's a whole journey and process that you have to tap into. So I TV and film for sure is in LA, so I wanted to make make myself known or show face and meet some casting directors out there, the coaches. But New York, because that's the beginning of theater. That's like not the beginning of theater, but theater is there.
Mhm.
They have more of a theater foundation than they do TV and film. So I wanted to study with those coaches because I knew that they would teach me the foundational things that I needed to know and learn from a acting standpoint. So that's the reason for the two different spaces. And just next stop is London. I gotta figure out some
Ooh,
things. So that's
yeah.
that's next for me.
Nice. I mean, that's a really well-rounded way of approaching your career is getting the
Hmm.
exposure you need in the places where it's happening. Yeah, that's
Hmm.
great.
I want to know more about that when you say crafting your career
Hmm.
and you have more control over it. And I haven't heard that before.
Mm.
And especially for somebody newer in the industry, and you're like, how do you do that? I mean, there is picking, like you said you had an agent for commercials, which is one thing. And I'm here in our area, and
Mhm.
I know some folks who, they show up their extras.
Yeah.
One of them was a regular extra on a show, and I'm like, you ever gonna get a speaking night? And he goes, no, but you gotta have this, and then you have to have an agent, and you gotta be able to do that. And it's like, well, what comes first, the chicken or the egg?
Yeah.
Do you have to wait for somebody to give you one line, and then you go find someone else
Right.
to say, okay, now that I've spoken on film or TV,
Mhm.
now I could do it? And I don't understand that process. Like, tell me, I know that's a 14-part question.
No, but it
So
is
what
No,
do you do?
almost work.
No,
Yeah.
let's talk about that. How do you get an agent if you're only an extra and you've just been a background actor? And then how the hell do you craft your own career?
I know, right?
That's
I
Yeah.
love
want-
that. Yeah, so with that, with the getting an agent, the best thing I would say getting an agent would be to do a showcase. So signing up with a acting company, a studio, a coach who does showcases where they'll perform in front of like the industry guests. So you'll have agents, you'll have managers, you'll have casting directors that will come out and watch you perform. That's the easiest, quickest way to get an agent, or at least to be seen by people. Sometimes they want you to have a resume before they sign you, and sometimes you just happen to be what they're looking for, and they will take you, and you have nothing on your resume. It all depends. There's no full blueprint to this.
Mhm.
It's literally case by case. But I will say for an actor, always have a monologue that you can perform. If you're not on set, if you don't have on set experience, I would say have a monologue, get it taped, get it filmed, put that on your materials that you can pitch to agents for. And typically that will get you in the door too. So I would say from that perspective, do it that way. But there's no full on blueprint. You just kind of have to try and keep trying and keep trying until it lands.
What's
And
your
then
full
sometimes
group?
you.
Go ahead. Sometimes you what?
I was like, and sometimes you have to like keep going back to the drawing board. You get signed with someone and it's not working out, and then you have to leave them and go find somebody else. So it's like a revolving door constantly.
What first three? I want to hear the first three lines of your go-to monologue.
Honestly, that's so funny that you say that because I'm actually working on a new one. I've played a teenager my entire career, and I am I'm like I'm grateful. But I'm ready to move on from the teenager stage. So I'm actually in the process of finding a monologue or even writing my own to really build up my material. So yeah, I don't have nothing for you today that will be fitting for what I want to present.
Okay.
Oh, that's a big dog.
There she is. Lynn brought Tilly into the studio, and Tilly's a boxer, so she just held her up and just
So
I don't know,
cute.
some kind of mess over there at the end of the table with snacks,
Yeah, with snacks and
strawberries
stuff.
and
And
all
my,
that. Can you plug
microphone,
that back in
my
yourself, or do
headset
we need
guy.
to get your people to do it for you?
yeah, I'd like my assistant to plug my headphones.
I,
in.
I I love small dogs. Like I had a little Maltese, like she literally could fit in a teacup. Like I had like the smallest puppy on the planet. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This is sweet.
Now I want to know about the crafting. You can control your own destiny,
Career.
Yeah.
Yes.
your career,
Absolutely.
because that's not easy.
No.
It's not it's not easy. I will say it's not easy and it's not for everybody. I also tell people you have to determine the type of actor you want to be. You can be there's different levels to this, and there's also different paths to take within the industry. I would say if you want to, you could be a working actor. A working actor is someone who's always in something. Like you see them, they're not known, but they're always
Mhm.
working. They're always booked out. So that's like for the working actor. And then you have a person who's becomes super famous, well known, craft a career. You know their artistry, you know the type of work that they do and things like that, which will go into your A-lister side. Um, And then you have people who just stay on the independent side who like that process because it's
Mhm.
more freeing. And then you have the people who just do Broadway and just stay in theater. So there's different avenues of which way you can approach it. When I say crafting your career, I'm more so talking about you get to a point where you've built up your resume, you got all the one-liners or your beginning credits, and now you're ready to move on to the next thing. You want bigger roles, you want, more speaking line, more storyline, a character arc, you want to be a series regular, or you want to be a lead of a film. That's when you're going to have to start being mindful with the type of projects that you say yes to, because the type of projects you say yes to does influence the trajectory of your career. So you have to be mindful of like which direction you want to go in. So when I say crafting your career, I'm to the point where it's like I know what I want, I see what I want, and I want to move in that direction. Now, you can do this from the very beginning, but I think that's important for actors to know that, because I think sometimes actors feel like they don't have much control and they feel like they have to say yes to everything that comes their way, and they do not. But then that gets them into situations that they don't want to be in, or they have regrets and things like that. I do believe having its experience is important, but I also feel like how you feel after that experience is more important. And so you really want to have that, just understand and know that you have control in that way to craft your career in the direction that you want to go. But to your point, it's not easy. It's not for everybody. That means saying no to a project or saying no to an opportunity to get paid. So, and I will say, keep your day job. Keep your day job. Whatever that is, keep it. Like, I know a lot of actors want to just, I want to quit my 9 to 5 and just pursue this. No, 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 no. Keep your day job until.
Right.
Well, I mean, you don't want to get, I understand that. You don't want to get typecast. That can be a
Yes.
hindrance at times.
Mhm.
And I saw something on CBS News this weekend. I can't remember if it was Saturday or Sunday, but they were talking to the gentleman who plays Mayhem on all
Oh,
state commercials.
yes.
And I remember watching him decades ago on Oz,
Mhm.
that show about the prison,
Oh,
and
right.
on
Ooh,
HBO.
Jeez, that's old.
And he was
Yeah.
in that, and he's been in some other stuff, but he's like, when he landed that role,
Mhm.
Mayhem, it was like, holy cow. He's done 153 commercials
Or
Ooh.
for
as,
Allstate
as
as Mayhem.
Mayhem.
And it's like the woman who plays Flo
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
Progressive. He's the same way. And she had been on Mad Men.
She was?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But she's like, all of a sudden, but when you land a gig like that, that's better than anything else. Like if you can be a
Yeah,
spokesperson, the
sure.
dude from Verizon, these people that you see, I think J.K. Rowling,
Mhm.
I'm going to say it wrong. My mother's like, you know who it is. He's one of my favorite actors. But he did the Farmers and
Yes, he's
commercial.
got a big voice.
But he's
Yeah.
been in so many. Actually, he
Mhm.
was just in that Christmas movie where he played Santa
Yes,
Claus in Red
yeah.
Horn with Dwayne Johnson.
Mhm. I've seen him in so many
Yeah.
other movies too,
Yeah.
inside like little side bits. Yeah.
Yeah, but he didn't get his typecast. Anyway,
Right.
I'm going to stop talking about that. We need to talk to Racquel. This is about her today.
It is about
I'm
her.
going to shut up.
Shut up. So, do you have a day job, or is your acting coaching your day job?
Coaching is my day job.
Mhm.
It's my in between gigs, and it's so flexible. It also keeps me in the art. So
Yeah.
I am grateful, which I stumbled into that too. Everything that I do, it's been I stumbled upon, like,
You're
which
so,
is very interesting.
yeah.
But it's also beautiful. I think I kind of
Mhm.
like that way and process of how life unfolds
Mhm.
in that way. But yeah, it's that's my day job for sure.
What is like? What is a typical day like for you? For people out there that are like, oh, I want to be an acting coach, but I don't know how to do this. What is a
She
typical
does
day?
this. She goes, because she's
Her
got people. She
Yeah,
just
okay.
snaps and they just do what she tells them to. And then she
I
takes
wish.
care of it and does whatever else she
I don't have people.
You got a person.
I got a person. Yeah.
But if you
No.
snap, you
I'm not gonna, yeah, no,
But-
the time of day if I snap. No.
A typical day is very interesting because you never know. It's never the same. It's never the same. So you have to. I will say, being an actor, you have to be flexible and understand that one minute you may be free, the next minute you're not free. So my whole day could be open and I'm like, oh, great, I have time to do other things. Then I may get an audition from my agent. They're like, hey, you just got this audition. It's due tomorrow. It's 8 pages long. I'm like, oh, my day is no longer free. Now I have to spend the day studying and preparing for that audition and taping the audition, editing, and then sending it over. And then that whole process. And then the next thing you know, you may get another audition. So you never know, or you may not have an audition and your day is freed up. But when it comes to coaching, I work with a studio in Atlanta. So I'm one of the coaches on the roster. It's Act Her Studios. It's led by actress Angela Davis. She's been coaching for over 20 years and in the industry for over 20 years. She is well versed in the industry and known out here as well, from casting to directors to producers. So I'm one of her coaches on her team. So a typical day is one, we have team meetings where we plan the material that we want the actors to work on. Then we find sides or scripts that they can work on and perform. And lately we've been tailoring our classes to be a little bit more specific. So we have like a physicality class, we have level 1, level 2, we have an on-camera class, we do some emotional work, just different things that will help the actors evolve to be a better actor and artist. And so that's this process on its own, especially when you have a new student who's never done acting. It's like their first time, but they're interested. You have to start them from the foundation, teaching them script analysis, how to break down a script, how to stand on the mark, especially when we're in the self-tape world. A lot of people don't know how to self-tape. So we're teaching people how to present themselves on camera for that. And just teaching them how different techniques and ways of how to get into a character, stay in character, but also release the character. Sometimes you don't want to just stay in and then now you're consumed by this world. And it's also a way of like helping them transition out of that space as well.
Interesting. That's a lot.
You said self-taping. So
Mhm.
is
I was
this,
going to ask about
is
this
this
too.
all, yeah, not in person? So you're not doing live reads anymore? Is this, everything is you tape it and send it in instead?
Yes.
How does that work though? What if it's, because a lot of times they want to know the chemistry between you and other people. So how the hell do you do that?
I know. Yeah.
Are you on like a Zoom call and it's like, all right, Racquel, I've got my line and blah, blah, blah.
Can you hear me?
I mean,
Can you hear me?
there's no energy
Yeah.
exchange. It's like,
It sucks. I'm not gonna lie. I wish we would go back to in person. I hate self-taping. I really do. Is it convenient? Yes, but I hate it because when you used to go into the room, you would workshop the material. The casting director could get to know you and get exchange energy and personality and just have these conversations. Now now sometimes it's not even a Zoom. It's just you, it's the actor, the camera, and you gotta find a reader. Sometimes the reader is not an actor. Sometimes the
Mhm.
reader is your mom, your husband, your boyfriend, a friend.
Right.
And so you're having to coach your reader how to read with you for this audition so it can be somewhat good to send in. And then you literally don't know. You don't know if they looked at it. You don't know. You have no idea. You don't know if you even performed in the way the character is supposed to be, because in the room they would critique you. They say, "Oh, the character's more like this." You're like, "Okay, great. Let me go approach it from that angle." You're
Wow.
literally guessing,
You're going in blind.
Especially
going
when you're
in blind.
Wow.
Yes.
reading the side notes. It's
Yes.
like, then Racquel turns longingly towards you and, oh, I wasn't supposed to say that. And you're like, I'm staying in character.
Raquel
Yes.
has a blue dress on. She looks pensive. She's walking towards the door. Don't read that part. Don't read that part.
Yes.
So do you have special equipment that you use to produce these videos, or are you just using your iPhone, or what are you using?
I do, because my husband does video and photography. So
Okay.
I'm blessed in that way that
Yeah.
my auditions look amazing. But you can honestly just use your iPhone. As long as you have good lighting, a plain backdrop or background, and just film it, honestly. They are a little bit more, they're more picky out here than they are from an LA and New York perspective. That's because self-tapes really did start in the Southeast. Because while we were on tape out here, LA and New York were still in person. It wasn't until COVID that everything transitioned to self-tape. So, yeah.
How'd you guys wind that? You told us where you live, and there's a really, really famous show that kind of put your town on the map up there.
Really?
Hmm. Yeah.
What show was that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
what
one with
is it?
Jason Bateman that he did on Netflix.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
So if you're familiar, right down
Yeah.
there as the bridge goes over the lake, where the lake splits, and on one side's the lake and the other side is like the boating marina.
Yeah.
There was the actual little restaurant that became the Beetle Cat or Blue Cat.
Yeah, Blue Cat. Yeah.
They bought that for the show.
Really?
You didn't know that?
I did not know that.
You gotta catch up.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
yeah, they actually bought it for the show. And trust me, the guy who actually owned it, I mean, the story that they tell about how it was bought on the show almost it's kind of almost true.
Oh,
From
really?
the real owner. Yeah, I've had many a burger and
Wow.
beer
Was
at that
money in the
place.
walls there? For real?
I'll tell you off camera.
Okay, all right.
The colorful person who
I bet.
owned it before
I bet.
Jason and his crew bought it.
I mean, I almost fell over when I
Wow.
realized
Yeah.
where that was being taped. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, wow, okay.
It ain't in Ozark.
No, it ain't. No.
Let's just put it that way.
So is that why you ended up where you are living?
Actually,
Or
no, it's
okay.
my husband. It was all him. And I was like,
Okay.
you're going, I will follow.
Yeah, okay.
Up there.
Good of you. Never been up there, but I'm sure it is. Yeah,
It
I'm sure it
is.
is.
And they got a little square downtown the railroad. and
Yeah.
the food restaurant upstairs. It's
Oh,
cute.
nice.
It's really cool. Yeah.
Mhm. Do you prefer film or you mentioned theater? Which one have you done both?
I've only done one. I haven't done theater yet. I'm working on it. Here's the thing. Theater is very demanding, right?
Yeah.
And you have to take time out for rehearsals, just months of rehearsals. And then
Mhm.
you have to know page one to page the end. There's no cut. There's no, you get to do 20 takes. Hopefully it don't take you 20 takes, but there's no multiple takes. You are starting from the beginning to end. And if you drop a line, then you're relying on your castmates to help you. So I haven't a desire to. It's a desire because I want to show respect to the craft in that way. And and my acting coach told me that I really need to do theater. I see the art from a theater standpoint. So he said, you need to try theater. And he told me to study Shakespeare. And at the time, I was like, I don't understand Shakespeare to do this. And he would be happy to know that I did look at some Shakespeare. And I was like, oh, wow, I kind of understand this. I was like, oh, wow, this is really deep. And oh, okay, cool. Maybe I will study Shakespeare a little bit more.
It's easy. Somebody has a problem with somebody else. Usually it's somewhere within the family. They're all backstabbing son of a bitches, and then they figure out how to kill someone and then say, I didn't do it because
Exactly.
they want the power. It's not easy.
It's like The Sopranos or Yellowstone.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
But it's way back from when.
Exactly.
And then, so I want to know, you do the acting thing for a little bit, and then when did you say, I think I could be a coach, an actor?
I never said that. That's the funny thing. I actually, when it was presented to me, I was afraid. I was like, oh no. And I was like, no, I don't know enough to coach, to teach me, teach what? I'm still learning. There's no way I'm going to do this. Like, I felt like a fraud in a way. Like, I was like, I can't. I had years of experience and my resume is long, but I have a lot to give, but I was too afraid to like step into that world. I felt like that was something that was saved for just, I don't know, the more experienced people. But a friend of mine knew the coach that I'm with now. She was branching out on her own, and he was like, you really need to bring her on. And so it was like I think it took us 2 years before it actually happened for me to be brought on with her. But I was very like nervous at first of stepping into that world. But as I got into it and I found my voice, I said, "Oh, I have so much to give. I have so much to learn." But it's also so rewarding to like take somebody from a beginning stage where they don't know much or that they are struggling with something to help them grow into something amazing. Witnessing that, being a part of that is so fulfilling. And I just love helping people. I am big on that. I'm like, what do you want to do? Let me help you achieve your goals. So that's it. I kind of just fell into it, and now I'm like, now I can say it with joy and pride that I'm an acting coach. Before I was like hiding from it. I was like, I coach, and then I will run away. But now I'm like, I coach.
That's so cool. It's just evolved for her.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So great. So I love watching improv. And there's a little part of me that says, I think I'd like to try it, but I've never really acted. Do you coach people on improv?
I don't. Okay.
Okay.
I do
I thought
not.
the way you were shaking your head, I was like, yes, she does.
No,
She loves it.
Look, I love improv too. I do not coach it. It's such a unique space, and it's such an important tool for actors to have because I've been on sets where they're like improv, and I'm like, ooh, or the director never calls cut, which means continue, and I'm like, there's nothing else to say, but that's when improv comes in, and you can, based off of the character and the research that you've done, you kind of just go back and forth with that. But I do know coaches who do coach improv, and that's all they coach. But it's an art of its own. It really is.
Yeah,
It
it does seem like it. I feel I just appreciate the intellect
Yeah.
and the spontaneity that goes behind it.
Yes.
You don't know what you're gonna get. And
You
some strange
don't.
stuff comes out. It's actually
Yeah.
hilarious.
Yes, because
Because why?
never say no.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yes,
yeah,
because.
that's right.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah.
You never
It's
said
a yes and you always like, yeah, you have to go with it.
See,
Yeah,
that's why
yeah.
she's the professional,
I
because
know,
she
and we're
used
not.
yes and
And.
I use yes because.
I feel like we use
Ah.
yes and a lot on this thing that we do.
If you don't think this is improv, we took Raquel's class, Fake It to Make It,
Fake it to
on
make it,
Saturday,
yeah.
and then we started a podcast, and we're like, we can do this shit. Let's go.
Look at me,
So-
mama, no hands.
And we're going with no net as we trapeze across the Grand Canyon today.
Ah!
You did research on this guest? Fuck, I have no idea who it is. I can't even say their name. We'll just wing it for an hour.
Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom. The guy's up in the helicopter and he's like, Jim's on the ground fighting with the anaconda, but we're
Barefoot.
up here safe with watching it all happen. That's you and I on the ground with the
On the ground.
anaconda.
Anaconda. Oh, fortunately, you're not an anaconda. We're not struggling with
No,
you
at
at all,
all, no.
Raquel. And we actually did do our research with you before we had you on the show. At least we not. My research was, how do I say your name correctly? And I was good with that.
You did.
Oh, that's,
Yeah.
No, that was spot on and perfect. Yeah. That was
Do you want me to
great.
do it with an accent?
Sure, let's hear.
Well, you got to
Jersey.
tell me which one.
Jersey.
Jersey, like Jersey
Yeah,
accent.
I asked her for a bagel.
Hey, Raquel, could I get a freaking bagel from you with a smidge? Or a wax? Just put them on the side, all right? I need them like super thin, thinner than my freaking hair. No, never mind, forget it. Just give me my freaking bagel, all right?
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Now you
Okay.
got to respond. Come on, you were waiting.
Oh,
Jersey, let's go. Jersey,
Jersey.
come
Jersey, sure. What else do you want?
What else do you want? That's it. Boy,
There you
she was a
go.
good waitress.
There you go.
What else do you want?
What else you want?
All right.
You're supposed to channel the soup Nazi.
Looks like, no.
Yeah.
Anyway, what? All right. I want to know. Do you like it when you're on set? Do you prefer, like you were saying, sometimes they don't call cut, they say continue. And I know some directors, they're like, just stick to the lines. I want you to do it exactly like this. This is how they are. And some go, here are the lines. I want you to have a feeling in this area, or Do you like the kind of directors that go, this is the scene? I know we give you a script, just kind of sort of throw a couple of lines in and we want you to freeform a little. Which do you prefer?
Honestly, I like all of them because I think each one would serve it really depends on like what the scene is. Like if I'm in an emotional scene where there's an argument, there's some buildup of that. I would like for it to be a little bit more free. Because once the emotion comes, it's like so much can come out of the space that the actor is in that could be some beautiful material that and some beautiful discoveries. But if I'm just it's just oh, I'm in class or and I'm talking to the teacher, I don't mind it being by the book, like word for word. So it really depends on the scene for me, where I would like to have more freedom than not. Yeah.
I like that.
I like that too.
It's good stuff.
Mm.
What is next? What do you have on your horizon? We were talking about goals this year for 2025. So what does Racquel Germany have for goals for 2025?
Wait, what are you going to manifest
No.
this year? He hates that word. Oh, yeah, nice. He just gave me two birds to the wind. I gotta rise up.
That was the word for 2024. You know that?
It wasn't really.
It was 2023 or 2024. Manifest was
Word
like
of the year?
Oxford's word of the year.
Jeez.
Shit like
Oh, God.
I forgot. Anyway.
I would say that's a really good question. That's a loaded question because I feel like since becoming a mom, everything has changed. My goals, dreams, what I want to do, what's important to me. Literally, I feel like after I gave birth, I was like, oh, this is a whole reset. I got to figure this out all over again. But I will say to have fun with acting, I really want to get on some projects that have some meaning to it that really makes a difference, not just content or, whatever just being thrown out there. I really want to be a part of some meaningful, intentional projects that make an impact or that has a really good storyline, great character development. I want to be more in that vein moving forward. So that's my goal, is to get more into the deeper stuff and actually have a chance to show and grow with the character than to just pop in, pop out.
As a mom, do you, when you
It's
get,
hell. It is
no,
just
hell, I
as a
can't,
mom.
no.
No gratitude at all from those little sons of bitches that just leech off you for 18
my
years.
God.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't have that experience. But anyway, I have no appreciation, literally. But as a mom, do you look at the roles that you might take and think twice about taking them because you don't want that to be a part of your history or what you've put into the world?
Absolutely. Now I've always been that way before I was a mom, but it doubled down since becoming a mom. I'm like, oh, this is even more of a confirmation that, what the process of which I have of how I approach characters or look at roles. For sure. It definitely makes me look at the work a little bit more with a magnifying glass before I say yes to it. Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
Right. Yeah, I would imagine that. I hear a lot of actors talk about that, authors too. It's like, no, this is part of my legacy, and I'm not so sure I want to do that.
Yeah. Well, it's nice that you're at a place where you're comfortable, where you can say no to something, and you feel you're allowed to choose the roles that you want, as opposed to, like you were saying before, some people are just like, I got to do anything and everything. Take it. You mentioned at the very beginning that you're a writer as well. Did you know? Is this book, or are you doing scripts, play? What's the writing thing?
I wish. Anyone's like, oh, write a script. I'm like, no, that's not my lane. I write. I honestly, I am thinking about a book. I could possibly write a book. I write more so like motivational, inspirational life lessons, reflective pieces. I have a newsletter, so I take my life lessons and turn them into this into words and just share it with people and give them inspiration and also another perspective of how to see things. I'm always diving deeper, especially with being an actor. We have to dive deep into everything. So something random could happen, and I'm like, but why? And I'm like looking at it from a magnifying glass and like analyzing it. Or if someone's upset about something, I'm like, but why are you upset? Maybe we can see it from this perspective. Maybe we can look at it from this angle. So I'm a very easygoing person because I'm always looking at things from like a wider perspective.
Yeah. I think any actor would be looking at things from a different perspective, a wide perspective.
Now you have a person.
What do you mean?
You were telling me that you wanted somebody to write your amazing biography, and
Oh,
Racquel's a writer. She
Oh
could
yeah,
write
my
Okay.
my
biography.
brothers. I've written some bios for a lot of people.
Oh, really?
your-
Now my bios.
if you need a great wordsmith,
No, I think she could set me on fire.
Yeah.
Really?
I'm more of a business that kind of
no, she's
wordsmith.
not.
But-
She's great. She writes our
Oh,
stuff.
thank you.
Oh. Wait, do you have a book?
No. I do a lot of
Okay.
content marketing and blogs, for other people. Yeah.
Oh, I
Yeah.
love
Writes
that.
all the
Mhm.
podcast snippets about the show, like our show
Yeah.
notes.
Yeah.
That's a gift.
Yeah, it's easy for me. I enjoy it. I
Yeah.
shouldn't say easy. It's people play Sudoku or Rubik's
Mhm.
Cube or whatever. For me,
I
it's
love
like
that.
Hercules.
That's me.
It's
Cubeless,
therapeutic. Got you.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of therapeutic.
I love that.
Yeah. So what's the name of your newsletter? So we can
It's
let our
called
listeners.
Beyond the Surface.
I like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Beyond the Surface.
Because
Yeah,
there's always something going on beyond what you see, right?
No, it's
Yeah.
true. It's so true. It's so
Yeah.
true. Like I wrote a piece about failing into place, about how to see failure. And really,
Mhm.
it's not like you completely just messed up, but more so like you're finding your place. You're getting closer to the thing you want. You're getting closer to being successful. So I wrote about
Mhm.
failing into place and seeing it
Mhm.
from that perspective versus like, oh, it's a no, it's done, it's over. No, you're just closer. Now you know. Now you have a stronger understanding of like where to go.
Yeah. And we talk about that on the
Failing
podcast. It's
forward.
like, failing forward. Like how many no's? Well, that's just one more no getting you to a yes. when
Yes.
You're out on sales calls or whatever.
Sales
Yeah.
calls when you're 16.
Yes.
Door.
Do you
With a
want
clipboard and a tape measure and a pen?
your driveway
That's
blacktop? I mean, yeah, it's
I got news
honorable.
for you.
Yeah, you bagged it, baby.
Yeah,
Mhm.
quite
I
a
know.
lot, quite
Yeah.
a bit.
I know.
All right, I have the final question.
Yeah.
So there's somebody who actually has been eating almost this entire hour behind us and made us these amazing cocktails. and I can't blame her. The food's really good that she was eating. But how did you and Megan meet?
Oh wow. So I met Megan through Rich. Rich is a potter, but he's also my dad's friend. Like
Rich Brown?
yes, Rich Brown
What
grew
the?
up with my dad.
No shit.
So so I've known Rich Rich knew me before I was born, basically. So
He
he's
is
been
one of the
around.
coolest, Mellow. He's what I always say. Rich is one of the coolest MFs you're ever gonna meet in your life. Is he not?
Yeah. Oh my God, it's so
Holy
cool.
shit!
Yeah, so he knew my dad, grew up with my dad, and he's always been around. So I was at the studio, and his studio, and then Megan was there, and that's how I met Megan.
And tell her how you met Rich.
That's how I met Rich.
Are you
Darren.
serious?
Oh, whoa! I have always said you're the connector around here. Darren knows
That is
everybody.
I got news for you.
Really?
You can have 6 degrees of separation with Kevin Bacon.
Yeah, but it's
You could have
Darren
4
Flanagan.
degrees of separation with Darren Flanagan.
Do it.
I got you, Kevin Bacon, by 2.
I knew it.
And anytime Kevin Bacon, you or Kira want to come on the show. let's
Yeah,
do
you're
it.
more than welcome.
You could do it from the farm, bring your guitar, bring the goats. Let's go.
That would be so cool.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Yeah.
You just dropped an amazing Bob. You never,
I didn't know. I forgot.
you had, that's so cool. I figured you guys met on set somewhere while Megan was doing the
Mm-mm.
set design and you were
No,
playing a character.
no. So when I found out about Megan, I was like, yeah, that's so cool. Like I had and then just sparked the whole conversation Because I was like, I love like everything about the film industry, like the process, the behind the scenes. Because I also used to work behind the scenes because I feel like it's important as an actor. You should work behind the scenes to understand what everybody in the department goes through and what their process is like, so you can have respect for it. So I was like, oh, so how did y'all do this and this and this? So I'm just like getting excited about. I'm like, what projects have you worked on? Like it was one of those moments.
That's awesome. It's
Yeah.
a small world is going through my head right now.
Well, a little bit. Yeah, it is small world.
Aw, now I
Yeah.
feel like we're a lot closer. We have a closer connection.
We're blowing
If we could do-
Valentine's.
look at-
love.
oh,
Yes,
Yeah, I love it. Cute.
Awesome. Raquel, I got to tell you what, this has been a blast.
It has been. Yeah, it really has been.
Enjoyed it.
Yes,
Enjoyed it.
me too.
Keep us through Megan, through whomever. Let us know about your progress. What's happening next? And if you want to come back, just to shoot the shit or whatever,
Yeah.
we'll have you on the show anytime.
I love
Exactly.
that. Yes.
And
Yes, I'm excited. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Lynn,
Darren.
do you want to say goodbye to everybody today?
Sure. Goodbye, everybody. Yay, we're done. Hilarious. So interesting, Raquel. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. No, thank you guys.